Hi there, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube page. I am Laurie Barraco, professional medium, psychic, author, and I apologize for some of the technical difficulty that I just experienced trying to go live. But hey, that's just par for the course. So it's been a while since I've done a live YouTube stream, and today I'm going to be answering some questions from some of you who have typed them in, and I am going to share this link if everybody could just hang on just a moment because of my technical difficulty. I had an incorrect link. So I've opened up the chat area, so please feel free to type in your questions and we'll see what we've got going on here. I'm going to get back to my page here. Alrighty. So hello, hello, hello. So you might see a little bit of smoke kind of coming through here. I have my incense burning. Today I am burning amber incense, and I've got my dragon incense holder. He's got a little bit of a little blue crystal ball there, a little gem, and I am burning this amber incense. And I love amber. It connects us with grounding sacred energies as well, and at the same time it opens up our intuition, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Also, it helps us reach higher heights of guidance, information, and it also connects us with that divine feminine, the goddess energy. So I am going to type something in the chat area here, so feel free to submit your questions here. Alrighty, so I will see them as they come in, and I will be using today my Gilded Royale Tarot. When I offer my predictions, I use the Gilded Royale Tarot. Today, this is just the plain old Gilded Tarot. And if you can see in the background, I have some wonderful paintings and artwork from local artists, as well as some who are high profile people that I just love their artwork. So I'll just wait for a few of you to tune in. I see I have a few friends here that are watching, tuning in live. And again, I'm Laurie Barraco, and I am also the founder of The Mystical Moon, where I have two storefronts, brick and mortar stores here in the Southwest Florida area, in Fort Myers, Florida, and I am in Bonita Springs today. And Bonita Springs is right between Naples and Fort Myers. It has such a charm, this area. It has kind of a fun hippie vibe. Also has, there are also some sacred sites along the Bonita Beach Road, which is a main roadway here, and it's a ley line. So ley lines are also known as dragon lines. They are magnetic lines. So there's a lot of really cool energy. And in this area, we have swampy waters, we have the Gulf, we have the Everglades, we have really lovely little waterways that go, the back waterways, and so on and so forth. And we also have a lot of Native American influence here as well. Alrighty, so I also see a question has popped up here, and I see it's Kelly. Hi, Kelly. She has a question, but FYI, the chat is hidden on mobile. Okay, so Kelly, I'm not sure how to fix that. Something, I'm gonna make a note of that. And by the way, Kelly, Kelly is a really great friend. We also have a live Facebook group event that we do on Fridays at 11 a.m. on our Goddess Coffee Talk. Okay, so sorry about that with the chat. Yeah, so a note taken, note made to fix that for the next time. Alrighty. So it'll pop up on the chat. Thanks, Kelly, though. Or pop over to Facebook. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm not live on Facebook, though, am I? I could kind of pop over back and forth and see if there are any questions there as well. Let's give it a moment or two. I should have music in the background. Do, 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 do. All righty. I'm gonna close out a couple of these other ones in the meantime. You know, YouTube has most certainly changed. I'm just reading the comments. YouTube has changed their format so much. Oh my gosh, it's a bona fide professional looking site here with the studio and stuff. I used to do these lives. Oh my gosh, it's probably been about 5 or 6 years, and obviously a lot has changed over time. So in the meantime, I did want to share a little bit of information about cards, reading the cards, and while I wait for some of the questions to come in. But a lot of people have the question of wondering what the difference is between a tarot deck and an oracle deck. And that's a really great question because they are different. They most certainly are different. And the difference is that a tarot deck has 78 cards. It has 78 cards, and then those cards are broken into different segments and sections. So there's a major arcana, and then there's a minor arcana. And then the cards are broken down into suits, into cups, pentacles, swords, and wands, and those relate to the elements: earth, water, air, fire. And then within those suits, they have numbers. They're usually numbered ace to 10, right? So 1 to 10, and then we break it down to, there are court cards too. So like there's the king, the queen, the page, and the knight. So a tarot deck has that system of divination, right? So it has 78 cards, and then it's broken down into the major, minor arcana, and then the suits. And then for oracle cards can be any amount of cards. They are, it's up to the creator's imagination and creativity, their thought, their intention of how they want it to look. So there can be 44 cards. That you might have a dragon deck. You might have, like Doreen Virtue has tons of angel decks that correspond with the different angels, and they have their own unique messages. Sometimes there's a longer message on the card, or sometimes it's one word. So that's the difference. However, you still can get a really great reading with oracle cards. Some people may say, well, there are so many different layers and references and correspondences with the tarot deck. That's true. But also with the oracle cards, you can get pretty far in depth with that as well. Especially if you're working, say, with say like an archetype or a deity, an ancient deity. Say like you're working with Kuan Yin. Well, there are many different layers to Kuan Yin, and then you're also aligning yourself with the wisdom of Kuan Yin. So the deck may be a Kuan Yin deck, but it might be a Kuan Yin card that you picked. So that's going to bring more flavor and depth and her energy, her frequency to you as well. All righty, Kelly, I see that you have your question. So her question's a little vague, which is what is coming into her life for the next 3 months. So what I'll do is I'm going to give my cards a little bit of a shuffle. Now, before I just want to give a little bit of background. Before I went live, right? Before I had my technical difficulty, I set the space in my room here. This is my office at the Bonita Springs Mystical Moon. I took a couple of deep breaths. I lit my candle, as you can see. I organized my room. I even sprayed a little bit of sprays, aromatherapy. And I took a couple of deep breaths, and I asked Spirit to help me to be in alignment for the messages for those who were tuned in here. And then I forgot to ask for smooth flowing streaming without any technical difficulties, but I can't ask for everything, right? So I was pushing it, I guess. But I asked to be in alignment and in the zone to receive the messages from my higher self, as a clear channel to relate the information. All right. And so my space has been set. Okay. So moving forward, I'm going to then go and answer Kelly's questions. I see also Louise has a comment here. All righty. All right. So I'm focusing on Kelly, and I am envisioning my higher self linking with Kelly's higher self, the non-physical part of her. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm going to pull them from the top. Take a nice deep breath, grounding myself and the spiritual energy within me. And I'm holding them up because you can't really see down here. So I pulled 3 cards for what is coming up for Kelly within the next 3 months. So then I would say that those 3 months are going to be October, November, December. Okay. All right. So the first card she has is the Hermit. So if I'm sharing messages, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the card too. I'm not going to go completely into depth, far in depth with them, but enough so that you can work with that energy. Because if we go back to what I had said before about working with Kuan Yin, right? That we're working with the consciousness of her. Well, we're working with, in October, the consciousness of the Hermit for Kelly. So that doesn't mean that Kelly needs to go and hunker down and not be around anybody, although it's not a bad idea to keep a balance with your intuitive self, with connecting with your inner divine self, with spirit, and being able to embrace what is you and what isn't you. And if you see this Hermit, he's carrying his light. And what spirit is saying is that inner spark, that light, it's emerging, and there's still more polishing to that for you in October. And there's the raising of your vibration. There is more of a connection with your divine self. So there's this whole refining and evolving of you and anchoring it within yourself for October. It's pretty deep, Kelly. So October is going to probably be a little bit deep for you. Then in November, creativity is going to be like rampant for you. Not only is it going to be rampant, most likely, but you will just be able to accomplish those things, right? So these ideas, these creativity, these visions, so you're going to be bringing them through from spirit, the seeds, the downloads, through the realms into the physical. And you're going to be pulling them out like actually give me like a magician's hat. Here's that manifestation, like a rabbit out of the magician's hat. Boop, and here we go. And you're going to be able to ground some of those visions, those ideas, those seeds. And it's like there's magic. The King of Wands he's so magical. He's also confident in himself, and he's an authority figure. Okay. All right, so the next one is for December, and that's the King of Pentacles. And I'm spending a lot of time on this because this is one of the first ones that I'm doing the first lives in a long time, and I don't have a lot of questions. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth for Kelly. And so here we go for December. You have the King of Wands, the King of Pentacles reversed. So there may be a few hiccups along the way, right? So here I've got all this momentum that's building and growing and so on and so forth. And then might have to slow it down a little bit. And they're saying to try not to be disappointed by that, to try not to try not to judge yourself, because I can almost see like, oh, we're going to go like thinking the negative ego is going to go, oh, you think you've got it together? Well, not necessarily. No, it's just a little hiccup and a little readjustments here and there. And it's also to get you to stop and breathe. And I've said this before, that a lot of times when there's a huge shift and growth spurt, then we're expanded, and then we contract a little. So there's a little bit of a contraction in December, but you're going to be fine because the last couple of months you've been setting yourself up for they're saying automation. Okay. All right. So it's going to be pretty interesting for you, Cal. All righty. So now I see I have Louise here. And thank you, Louise. She said she loves the weekly readings. Chat ideas exciting as well. Oh, good. Appreciate the time and devotion to the service. Thank you, Louise. I really do enjoy sharing predictions. The really cool thing is, right, I feel like sometimes I'm pulling it out of the air, and that's how intuition works most of the time. It's like, am I making this up? Am I really making this up? Because it just feels like it's far-fetched and just feels like it's like whatever, random. It feels random. But that's one of the ways that we can learn to trust our intuition, is to not second guess it so much, right? Because in reality, we could get pulled out of that psychic channel and second guess ourselves. That's when we got to step back and reset our energy and get back in there into that higher self channel, allow the information and the energies to flow for us. All right. So Louise, if you have a question, feel free to type it in this chat area here. All right. And Kelly, you're so welcome. All righty. So I'll give you a moment here. Type it in. I'm not sure of the delay here. And I do see that I have a few people who are watching, because it shows you the little count on there, who are watching live. And if you're catching this, if you're tuning in afterwards, after I go off the air, then feel free to subscribe to this page so that you'll receive notifications of when I do go live. And I really do enjoy connecting with people in this way. And it's a great way for people who may have wanted a little bit of clarity or validation of what's going on with them. Maybe they don't have the funds for a full reading, and my schedule is booked out till the beginning of November. So this is another great way of receiving a little bit of validation and guidance. And it is one of the ways that I do enjoy giving back and sharing, right? So I enjoy sharing messages. Alrighty, so let's see. All right, Louise. And she says she second guesses her intuition all the time. And that second guessing is a tough one. Thanks, Amy. I see Amy. Hi, Amy. Okay, so I have a question here. And Amy, feel free to type in your question if you have one. All right, so Louise wants to know if there's anything that the cards may need to warn her about. That's a good question. And as I'm shuffling and moving the energy around a little bit, I do want to say that there is a way of relaying information that could be a little bit challenging. And I have the agreement set up with Spirit that if there is anything that's kind of challenging that needs to come through, please provide us ways that we can shift it or have an alternative of changing our course. Because the readings are not set in stone. It's where you're at based upon right now. You can have a complete shift in your free will and make a completely different, take a different direction, make different choices, and so on and so forth. You can do that, and that is going to change your destiny. It's going to change your destiny. And if we're co-creating with other people, then we add, the odds just change of the most likely outcome. We can look at the probabilities and we can look like, oh, okay, if this is a potential of if I go this way, if I go that way, but if I change it up, right, and if I do this, this, and this, I can maybe soften the challenge a little bit. All right, so I'm going to think of Louise, and as I had mentioned before, if you're still tuning in, I'm going to think of Louise as I thought of Kelly and thinking of Mike, and I have her permission. I have Louise's permission to connect with Louise on another level, and we'll pull, I am going to pull 3 cards for you. Let's see, because that's what I heard. Anything that she should be mindful of, to be aware of. And a lot of times the messages are validations, right? It's like a confirmation. Oh, I knew that. All right. So let's see what the interpretation is for you with this. Oh, okay, so I'm going to give you the word, Louise, coattailing. Okay, so this is what I have for you, and I'll share the cards in a moment. What I have for you is I'm seeing, I have the vision of you working really hard, and it's like you're doing all the grunt work, you're doing all the research, and you're putting forth the efforts. And then what happens is, rather than use it to your own benefit and reward yourself for all that hard work, I see you kind of giving it away. So there might be you might be out of balance, and you might have the tendency, Louise, to give it all away. And maybe to some people who really aren't grateful and they come to expect you to do all the hard work, right? I also see a little bit of manipulation there, by the way, where some people may say, oh, I wish that I could do this. And you make a mental note, and or you volunteer, I'll take care of that for you. And then you're doing all this hard work and so on and so forth. And then there's some kind of approval thing that's going on there. So I would keep that in mind. So there's a coattailing, and there's the challenge of sometimes doing things just because you want to be nice, and sometimes, they're saying sometimes it's to quiet the little stinker in the corner. What do I mean by that? So we all have people in our life who have shorter fuses, and sometimes we give that squeaky wheel all the oil, and they don't deserve all the oil because they're just going to get louder and louder. They've learned to manipulate, right? So the cards that you have are the Eight of Pentacles, and this is to do with working really hard and learning and growing and putting the effort into something and taking it seriously. And then you have the Sun. This has to do with success and achieving these goals, right? So it's like, I'm working really hard. I feel really good about doing this here. And then I have the Emperor reversed. So then what happens is that all of that effort and all the challenges that you went through to accomplish these things, it feels like you're powerless and you're not utilizing them for your personal growth. Okay. As an individual, and it's not being selfish, because we pretty much know when we're being a stinker, and when we know when we're not, right? When we're using situations and people for our own personal gain in a negative way. There's a difference than trying to better yourself and taking care of yourself. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we get really grouchy, really bitchy, and we are obnoxious, right? All right, so I'm going to see what Louise has to say. Louise says, yes, you're on point. As always, she's been loyal to toxic employees and need new ones fast. There you go. So, so that would make complete sense, right? You're growing your business and you're investing in your employees, and then poof, they're taking advantage. They have expectations of you and projecting those expectations, and then you're frustrated. What I would encourage you to do in this timing, right, in this process, in this whole process, is ask Spirit to help you with this transitional time in your life where you would like to transition out what doesn't serve in your business, serve you or your business or your clients, and to transition those for the highest and best good with love, with grace and integrity. Okay? All right. And Amy said, a good friend always said about tough readings, forewarned is forearmed. You can make that shift. Exactly, right? So if we have this information, excellent point, Amy. If we have this information, right, this little bit of this nugget, this is a possibility. Well, then maybe I better straighten my act up, right? I better shift some things here for myself. If I know that this is a potential, I kind of knew that would happen, and this is validate, and this reading or this card is validating all of that, then maybe I should do something about it. Yeah. Louise says, thank you so very much. You're so very welcome. Many blessings to you too, Louise. All righty. So we've got a little bit more time. So let's see if anyone else has any questions that they'd like to type in today. Let's see if I can share a little bit. All right, I think everybody's good over here. Oh, busy store. We can hear the phone going. Okay. All right, Amy has a question. What does Spirit want me to know these days? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the cards a little bit of shuffle. I'm going to think of the lovely Amy, and connect my higher self to her higher self. And as we think of Amy, we're going to shuffle them up a little bit. It's a little bit more shuffle, Amy. That's what they're saying. A little bit more for Amy. Okay, I can do that. All right, one. Oh, they turned over. Hold on here. I gotta shuffle them a little bit more because I had some of the other ones on the bottom. And if they're meant to be, they'll pop up again, right? That's the way we trust it. All right, now we're ready. 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is what I'm hearing right now is that there are things, situations in your life that need tending to and being taken care of. And I feel like we need to check those things off first. However, what I also want to say is that, or Spirit wants to acknowledge, you have just shifted some worries and fears that have in the past weighed heavy on your mind and your heart. And I'm even going to go to your physical heart too, right? So you've got the Ace of Hearts, the Ace of Cups reversed, which is the heart. Then you've got, and a lot of times we talk about the emotional heart. Then you have the Nine of Swords reversed. And then you have the Five of Pentacles. So there was you're over the hurdle is what they want to say. You are over the hurdle that has been weighing heavy on your mind and your heart for the last 3 years. They're giving me 3 years. And now it's time to get on out there. Get on out there. Now it's time to start pursuing some of the things that or areas or hobbies or interests that you've been putting on the shelf for a little while. So the physical, so the physical strains, right? The physical concerns that you've had in your physical reality, this has to do with health, it has to do with finances, your things, even your car or your home, that there's a shift, right? So we've just turned a corner, Amy. So Spirit's wanting to validate that you've turned a corner with all of this. Okay, now this is so funny. They're saying that you're not going to receive the signs, but you're going to receive 4 signs. There are 4 signs that you will receive of the same thing. I want to go to 4 butterflies, like in fours, like a cluster of 4 butterflies, just kind of coming up and validating. A grouping of 4 birds, hawks, or for hawks, or even ibis, right? We have ibis here to show me the white bird, and then maybe even 4 eagles in a row, or 4 rotations of a circle of an eagle, and so on and so forth. That we've turned a corner. They want you to also have a releasing a blessing ceremony of all the things that you've been through, right? All the challenges, all of the heartache you've been through over the last 3 years. Write it all down, burn it up, shred it, just and acknowledge it, like all that you've learned and all that you're ready to let go and to be done with, and surrender up that to Spirit, and thank Spirit for all of these opportunities, because for growth and learning, because your soul chose to go through these landmines too, landmarks, these landmarks, and you're still standing, right? A lot of people may have become very negative and very sad and so on and so forth. I mean, I know you've had loss and there's a lot that has gone on for you, but you've turned that corner, and now it's time to acknowledge it all, put it all in a big bundle. Actually, what I'm seeing is maybe writing these things down or gathering. I see some sage and I see some other herbs, and I don't know if you have like a barbecue pit or fire pit or something like that. And I see these herbs, and no, they want you to do something completely different than writing it all down. Like say this is a piece of sage, right? Taking a leaf and putting it, putting energy into it. This situation, blah, blah, blah. I thank Spirit for this experience. I release it now, and then you put it in the fire and let it go. You could have whatever type of herbs, but I definitely would add at least have sage in there, maybe lavender or bay leaves, but I would put it into the fire. I feel like you do have a fire pit or something, and then shift and release all of it. Because you're still standing, right? All these things, and bless them, tie them up, and let them go. And even you could even say even a fear, my fear of this, or my worry about this. I release it all. I thank Spirit for the experience, and I'm ready to move on. And I just feel like it's like this huge weight has been lifted from you. And then as they're all kind of burning and you've got your aromas going and the crackling and all that, then I would take a moment and breathe and maybe put your hands on your heart and thank Spirit for all the blessings you do have and all the things that have gone well, right? So then we're gonna so then we're gonna close it with gratitude and acknowledge what's going really well in your world in your here and now. Okay, that was a lot from those 3 cards, right? But you've turned a huge corner. They give you a little ceremony. Okay. Alrighty, so if I don't have many other friends tuning in right now, what I'm going to do is if you're watching this afterwards, I'm going to do a little something for you. I'm going to pull 3 cards and you're going to choose which one you would like for your message. And I'm going to give you the meanings afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle them up a little. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So decide which one you want, whatever number calls to you, and then this will be your message. If you chose number 1, it's the Knight of Wands. So this is about action. So that idea, that nudge that you have going on, that just that inclination, go do it. You need to do something about it. Spirit wants you to be more proactive and to see things through. Don't give up. Don't stop in the middle. You need to carry and see things through. You may have been procrastinating a lot these days, and Spirit is calling you on it and saying, finish what you start. Finish what you start. See it through. Don't make excuses in the middle. Just keep on going and see it through. So those who chose number 1, my procrastinator friends, see things through. Hey, we all have things that we are procrastinating. It's like, I'll get to you later. All right, just do it. Don't whine about it. Don't cry about it. Don't be a big baby. Just keep on going. Okay. All right. If you're still watching it, a little memo popped up for me in the chat, says unable to chat right now, connect, try later. So I don't know if anybody else popped in a question. Then just gonna let you know I am unable to see the chat area from here. You may not be able to see it on your end either. All right, if you chose number 2, you've got the moon. The moon. So lunar energy. So right now we are in the phase of the moon is waning, which means it's taking away energy. We're releasing things, what doesn't serve, bad habits, negative self-talk, terrible eating, too much coffee, what drama, whatever it is. This is a time to shift what doesn't serve. And so the message, if you chose number 2, the moon, that this is your message, and Spirit doesn't want you to resist letting go. There are situations, people, thoughts that are phasing out. Trust the process. Stop pulling them back, right? It's like, I'm pulling it back. Stop trying to pull these things back. Let it phase out. Okay, just let things move on. Let it phase out. You don't need to pull it back. So that's your message for the next week and a half or so. Okay, if something's shifting out, just observe it, make a note, let it be. If you're guided to cut out dairy, cut out dairy. There's a reason why. Okay, if you're feeling like I need to throw things out, go throw them out. All right. Okay. Number 3, if you chose number 3, you have the 10 of Wands reversed. Okay, so this is the message is for those who tend to overcommit and pile on all the responsibilities more than necessary. These are those people whose plates are really full and who are still piling on the responsibilities and the obligations and so on and so forth and overcommitting. So Spirit wants you to be mindful of that you are overcommitting and you're overdoing it. Why are you still saying yes? Why are you still adding more on your to-do list? Why are you doing that? Is it that because you want to keep yourself busy from tending to some things that you maybe the card number was a 1, your procrastination? Why are you still overcommitting? And it's a really good question to ask yourself. So, what does Spirit want us to do then? If we chose number 3, to take a look at all of our obligations, and ask ourselves, what can we delegate? What can be phased out? That this is a really good time to do that. Work goes on along in alignment along with the message with the moon one too, right? So these messages are all kind of coming together. So we are in the waning phase. So Spirit's saying that now is the time to downside and to not take on extra responsibilities, right? So whether you say, oh, I can take you once a week here, to really think about that before you commit yourself. And we might even add a little bit of guilt to this one too. These are for those people who feel guilty that, oh, maybe no, they don't have anybody else. Who am I going to do this, right? But I already have a full plate, but I'm going to do this anyhow. So just to be mindful of that. Okay. Okay. I'm going to see if it's still, the chat's still out. All right. So with that being said, I am going to close this week's Psychic Q&A, and I thank you all so much for tuning in. So if you would like to join me again in the future, please feel free to subscribe to this page, my Laurie Barraco page, and I will be doing this at least once a week. But if you subscribe to this page, you will receive notifications when the next live Q&A is going to be scheduled. All righty, y'all. Thank you, everyone. Have a really lovely day. I'm Laurie Barraco. Namaste.